A little closer than it needed to be, right? But like the beam, the Kings win it 120 to 115. But boy, how about Malik Monk missing 2 free throws again? And you're like, oh no, is this Milwaukee again? Kings close it out. They get the W. So far on this 7-game trip, 2-0. Postgame right here on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter. Stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. Fox. Goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
Yes, indeed. 120 to 115. Good to have you here on the postgame. Ryan's having a couple of internet issues at his villa in Elk Grove. So it may be just you and me. Yes, indeed. A little solo action. All right. So here you are. We said we would take 4-3 on the road trip. You got Memphis on Monday. Can you believe that Memphis is playing tomorrow in Indiana? I mean, how about this schedule? You catch the Mavs on the second night of a back-to-back for the second time this year. The last time you were in Dallas, they played the Bucks the night before. Now you go and take on a Memphis team who's playing tomorrow night. Perfect. Perfect. You got a good chance to go 3-0 on this road trip. What did you think about the game tonight? You got the QR code right there, and you can join us. It is that simple. Here it is. All right. You want to come on with me? You want to talk about the game? Would love to have you. All right. We can chat. We can go back and forth, or you can just give me your messages right here. But, I thought Fox came out really aggressive early on in this first half, ended up with 34 points, but he really set the tone early. Barnes with 20. All 5 starters were in double figures. And you look at Sabonis' quiet game for him, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, only took 10 shots, but Barnes had 20. You look at, and only on 11 shots, Keegan Murray had 15. I thought his defense was very good. Herter had 18, 7-11, 4 of 8 from downtown. You didn't get a lot from the bench in this game. It was really the starters. Malik Monk did not play well in 20 minutes. He had 9 points. And again, I don't know what the deal is at the end of the game with free throws. So, it wasn't a fourth quarter collapse. All right. A fourth quarter collapse is when you lose. All right. A fourth quarter collapse is not when you win. All right. So it's not a fourth quarter collapse. Stop it. All right. A fourth quarter collapse is when you have a Phoenix lead. That's a fourth quarter collapse. They didn't collapse tonight. They won the game. All right. They're on the road. They won the game 120 to 115. All right. Come on now. Stop it already. They win the game. All right. They win the game. Plain and simple. And they get a little separation between themselves and the Dallas Mavericks. Hope you had a chance to join us on the halftime. We have a very special show coming up for you on Monday. Ryan with the pregame. And then the birthday boy, Jerry Reynolds, will be joining us at halftime on Monday. The big 8-0 for Jerry. How about that? The big 8-0. Hey, if you're joining us for the first time, give me a thumbs up, would you please? Hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. You know what? Thank you, D. Scott. You're right. Enjoy the win, y'all. Little southern accent down there, y'all. My mom was from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And when we used to go down there to visit her brother's family, Uncle Sid, he had the strongest southern accent. And, being a New Yorker, and I had a very strong New York accent, it was very funny when we talked because I don't think he understood a word that I was saying, and I sure as hell didn't understand anything he was saying. He had that Southern drawl, and I had to go, "What's that again, Uncle Sid? What's that?" And he'd go, "Boy, do you have something wrong with your hearing?" I'd go, "Uncle Sid, I can't understand you." Boy, y'all from up north, we can't understand you no more either. I'm like, okay, Uncle Sid. That was good stuff. Seriously, though, I couldn't understand half the things that he was saying to me. Oh, man. And those Southern sayings. Oh, wow. All right. So you get the win, and the Kings did a good job. You got to remember, the Mavs played last night. They had no Kyrie Irving, so it's all good. All right? It's all good. Kings win. Any win on the road's a good win. They've got 5 games left. They're 2-0. What is Jerry's secret to aging so well? You tell me. I don't know. I wish I could understand him today, but unfortunately, he's no longer with us. I wish I could understand him today. All right. Maybe later in the show, you can give your thoughts on the NFL games tomorrow. Well, this is a Kings postgame show, right? And I appreciate you asking, but it's not really a football show. And I've had plenty of shows this week where I have given you my thoughts on that. All right. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think on the game tonight? Any negatives? I mean, yeah, you would have liked for them to win by double digits. Yeah, that would have been fun. I would have enjoyed that. But, it didn't happen. Didn't happen. All right, here we go. Love the fact that the Kings have bounced back with 3 straight wins after the 4-game slide. I'm with you on that. Jerry eats a lot of Bennett's to stay sharp. I would agree with that. He does. Whenever I'm in town, I take him there. All right, let's get to Condog. All right, buddy, how are you? Got the arms in the air. I love it. How you doing today?
Doing good. So was currently watching the Kings game and the WWE Royal Rumble, but both screens same time. So,
so how did that go for you?
Pretty good. Again, I have dual monitors, so I can just move my head left and right. And from what I saw, Mavericks looked gassed out from the other day.
Yeah, they did.
They looked gassed out. They were fouling a lot. They were just sloppy, and the Kings took advantage. Mavs had to push late, but Kings prevailed, and some advantageous scheduling can lead to a successful road trip.
Yeah. All right. Well, when you look at the way they won the Warriors game, you figured with Steph Curry having the ball in the last possession, I thought the Warriors were going to win. So you win that game, and now you go and you are 2-0 with 5 games left on this trip. And I think you would agree with us. We would have taken 4 and 3 when this trip began. Now you got Memphis on Monday. They play tomorrow night in Indiana. You could have a hell of a road trip here. You could have one hell of a road trip.
Oh, fantastic that we're getting teams on their back-to-backs, even though they're home, because we're getting that day of rest regardless.
How about that, right?
Yeah. It looks like, teams gelling a lot better since since Barnes started kicking it into gear the last couple of games.
Yep.
Herter's found his shot now. So now that the team can count on those guys a little more, it allows the offense to flow a little better. They look a little more alive than they did late December, early January.
Yeah. Again, it's this team, I'm looking for consistency, and I haven't seen the consistency. Maybe we'll find it on this road trip, but so far, so good. So far, so good.
Honestly, yeah, consistency has not been, Sacramento's thing for, 17 years. We could go all the way to, the Boogie era, Tyreek Evans, all that is because there were games back then, we would play the Miami Heat, Big Three, LeBron James really well. They would be close games, and then we would get destroyed by like the Pistons or something. They would play up and down.
Good point. Hey, listen, it's always good having you join me on the show, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
Yep. Later.
Okay, good. Good stuff right there from Condog. If you want to come on, you got the QR code right there. You can join me, and we can talk about it as the Kings get the victory, and there is the link as well. I could sit here and nitpick and I guess, pick apart some things in the game tonight. But I just, you're in Dallas. You've now separated yourself. This was, a 2-game change in the standings. They're behind you. Had they won tonight, they're only a game behind you in the loss column. So this is a big game tonight. All right. This was a big game. And when you play Dallas again, you have 2 games consecutively at home, but they're in Salt Lake City the night before you play them. So, maybe you can win all 4 games this year against the Mavs. You never know, right? You never know. All right. I do know this. All right. If you are looking for a fabulous meal, you want to head to Bennett's Restaurants. This is their West Side Grill in Rockland. They have a location in Roseville and Sacramento. You go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and make a reservation, check out the menu and more. I got a message and a photograph today from a very good friend of mine who sent me a picture dining at the West Side Grill location, and he had a nice cut of prime rib on his plate. And I'm like, oh, yeah, the prime rib featured on the weekends at Bennett's. Don't forget about the weekend brunch. You can get there tomorrow for your brunch. Prime seafood and steak at Bennett's. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Check out the menu and more. Make a reservation. That's Bennett's. Love it. All right. Also, you got to love the fact that this road trip is shaping up pretty darn nicely for Sacramento. All right. Here we go. 58 points in the paint and 11 block shots set the tone of this game. A win is a win. Yeah, especially on the road, against a pretty good team. All right. Here we go. Joe said at Bennett's in Roseville, can't talk, was able to watch the game. Fantastic win. Great to have you joining us there, Joe. Really appreciate it. All right. What about trade deadline coming up on February 8th? Do you think the Kings are going to be making some moves or not? All right. What do you think? Going to be tough, going to be tough. Yeah, I have been following that Warriors-Lakers game in double overtime. I have been following that a little bit. But, listen, we're talking about this Kings team right now. And, after the Indiana game, there was a lot of doom and gloom, right? And now all of a sudden, you have to look at, all right, you win a game against Atlanta, who had played the night before, without Trae Young, by the way. Then you win a thriller in San Francisco against the Warriors, and you follow it up with a nice win here in Dallas. So I'm okay, I'm okay. Lydia said at least, what does Lydia say? At least one move, Grant. All right. She goes, at least one move, Grant, I think will be made. All right. You think it's going to be on a scale, you think it's going to be a big move or just kind of a minor move? All right. Here is Ian. I'm not expecting the Kings to make a move because Monty seems to prioritize caution. He's resisting the pressure to make a move now because he wants to make the right move. Well, do you know of any general manager that wants to make the wrong move? They all want to make the right moves. They all do. So someone says, need to upgrade the bench, in my opinion. Starters are fine. All right. I don't disagree with that. All right. Here's Mad Doc. Who's your guy you go out and try to get realistically? I can't answer that. I just don't know. I don't know. It's a fair question. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't know. All right, we got some folks that want to join us here. So why don't we check in with Kelly? Kelly, thanks very much. What's going on today?
Oh, I'm
Kelly.
so frustrated. I'm so frustrated at Katie and her commentary. She just talks nonstop through the game about stories, not about the game. I can't take it anymore.
I get that same message all the time on my chat line and on my social media and from friends. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm being 1,000% upfront and transparent with you. I don't watch any of the Kings telecast. None. Yeah. I watch the other team or the national feed. I haven't watched one local Kings telecast since I left the organization. So I'm not the right person to perhaps talk about this, other than it is something that I hear of every single game. And I've been open about this, Kelly, and I'm not bragging.
Yeah.
I could
No,
spend 1
me
hour.
neither. But
No,
the
listen,
Kings, that
I could spend 1 hour with Katie in a office with a monitor and a computer with game tapes, and I could make her a much better announcer in 1 hour. But it's too much for you. It tarnishes the enjoyment of you watching the game.
yes, absolutely. I mean, four of us were watching it. We were getting all fired up and ready to go. And then we heard some story. We didn't even know what happened with the foul that was challenged because she was telling some story all the way through. You should watch just one game. Just one game. You should just watch one telecast from our end.
Well, Katie's a friend of mine, but she had
I
that
know.
habit
Yeah,
when
I know.
she had that habit when she was the sideline reporter. She takes 45 seconds to say what she could say in 20 seconds. She
There
doesn't
you
know when
go.
to stop. She doesn't know when to cut it off. And that's
Yeah,
always been a problem of hers, in my opinion.
there you go. That's
Hey,
all.
thank you well, okay, can I ask you what you think of the game? Are you happy with what you saw tonight?
Well, of course. Always happy with the win.
Yeah.
Didn't like the last free throws, but always happy with a win.
Kelly, I'm happy that you took the time to call the show. I hope we can see you and talk to you again. Thank you so much.
You got it. Bye-bye.
All right, take care now. That's great to
Bye.
have Kelly joining us right here. We say goodbye to her and we bring on Vlad. Hello, Vlad. How are you today?
Hey, Grant, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Well, first of all, good win. I was thinking to start the season that the Kings were kind of missing something, but you really can't judge a book by 20 or 30 games on the cover. So I think we can still kind of rebound and kind of, come out of the All-Star break all guns blazing. I think we can do well. I kind of want to piggyback off the last caller, Grant. Do you think Katie getting the gig, do you think it's part of like PC woke culture, or what do you think the reason was?
Well, I think the entire Sacramento Kings organization is woke because of their owner, and I think it's very apparent what they did with their entire broadcasting team. I don't even think I need to answer that question. I think it's very obvious.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you
I
don't have
just
to
wanted
say
to
you're
hear from
sorry.
you.
You don't have
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
you're
I know.
sorry. I just think
Yeah,
it's very apparent that you have an owner that is extremely woke and is embarrassingly woke, in my opinion. I think it's just, again,
yeah,
people are going to say, "Well, gee, Grant, you have hard feelings. You're upset." No, I'm past that. It's 2024 now. The last game I did was in 2020. I'm way past that. This is not
yeah,
personal for me. It's just very apparent to me. The Vivek Ranadive is woke with a capital W, and
yeah.
I would just continue to say this. I get more complaints about the Kings telecast from friends and from people I don't know on an everyday basis. If I show you my messages and my social media and my direct messages and emails about the Kings telecast, I'm blown away at how many people don't like it. I mean, it's
I
very
agree.
apparent to me that a lot of fans do not care for it.
I agree. And I just want to give you a lot of credit, Grant, that you're still following the Kings and you still love the Kings. I think if I had the exit that you had just based off of the BS, I'm not going to curse on your show. I think that I would have some sour grapes. So I commend you for taking the higher ground.
All right. Well, I'm going to be completely 100% transparent with you. The only reason why I'm doing these shows are for people like you. I'm not doing it because I'm rooting for
Right,
the Kings. I don't root for the Kings anymore. I don't root for them to lose, but I'm
right.
not like you and the other fans. I am doing
Yeah,
this because I have a connection with the team. I was your announcer for 32 years and I love you and the fans. I absolutely makes me who I am. That's why I do my shows on Listen App and my other open forum shows here on YouTube. I'm doing this because of the bond that I have with people like you, Vlad. I
yeah,
don't ever want that to leave me. I always want to have that bond, that communication, that relationship with my audience. So I don't sit here with my pom-poms on rooting for the Kings. I root for
right.
you and your fellow fans to enjoy success. That's what I root for, and that's why I do the show.
I appreciate it. I think you've always had a special talent for broadcasting. I knew you grew up in New York,
Yep.
followed Marv Albert and all that.
Yep.
He's a great influence. Yeah, I even sometimes I watch old Kings highlights of you getting pissed off at Shaq. So I I just want to say I appreciate you. I'll let other callers get on, but thank you. Keep doing what you do, Grant.
Hey, I really appreciate you, Vlad. And do me a favor, call again, would you please?
Yeah, I will. I'll be on next time you're on, okay?
Sounds great. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone else out there. It is incredible. Does anyone know if Grant Napear wins the lawsuit? Well, it's still ongoing, and my goal is to have my case go to trial in November. The trial date is set for November, and I'm hoping we get there, and I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, let's get over to the great country of Serbia and our man Baki. How are you, Baki?
Hi, Grant. I'm fine. I'm great. After 2 wins in the great opening the road trip, and let me tell you, people born on 18th of June are a little bit, a little
Gemini,
bit
baby.
old school. A little bit old school. You, Grant, and me, we love defense, and I think we have seen it tonight finally. And the only negative in the fourth quarter is that after timeout, Jason Kidd made some adjustments in the offense, which have resulted in Sacramento defense to mess up. But luckily for us, we have our offense was patient enough to end the game successfully.
Yeah, listen, Bucky, I'm not getting all excited about this win against a Dallas team that played last night, and they didn't have Kyrie Irving, and the Kings had to scratch and claw to win the game. I'm taking the W because any win on the road is a good win. But this game was far from perfect, Bucky. I mean, again, you're taking on a Mavs team that was tired, that's without
Yes.
arguably their best player or their second best player. And two other key players. Let's not forget that.
Yes, I agree. But in the beginning of the game and maybe first 3 quarters, we were normal team as we should
Yeah.
be.
Yes.
We again showed everybody that we can finish the game easily by 20 points. What happened later is another book.
Okay, but it's a 48-minute game. It's not this. You watch
Yeah.
more basketball than I do. I understand what you're saying, but I'm still a little concerned about the stretches of inconsistencies that I see with this team, not game to game, but within the game. It makes me a little nervous, Baki. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it makes nervous everybody. I think you got that offense running on the Sacramento team in the last quarter. Every offense was resulted by a 3-point shot. So we got maybe lucky. Luka was very tired. You see,
Yep.
I think he was 9 of 26, and he made only 1 3-pointer. So.
Yeah, he did not shoot the ball well. Listen, Baki, he was 1 of 9 from 3. And what does that tell you, Baki? Tells you that he was playing with tired legs. He was questionable with an ankle. He was questionable. So he wasn't 100%. And he played 43 minutes last night.
I saw him. He didn't even move back to the defense after he scored. He just laying down the floor and take some time to leave the 4 against the 5. So, but that's the NBA in the back-to-back games.
Well,
that's
you take the W. You take the W. Sorry about Novak, man. I thought Novak was going to get another title. I'm sorry that he lost.
Looks like Novak doesn't bother at all.
Hey, appreciate you. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
And Golden State just won by 1 point.
Wild game. Double overtime.
Wild.
Yep. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Grant.
Appreciate you. Hey, if you want to get in on, you see the QR code on the screen. You can also just go and hit the link here. I appreciate being able to talk with you. And I don't have a chance to read all of the messages that are coming across on the screen for your support as it relates to my situation and the lawsuit and everything else. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And again, it's probably the main reason why I'm still doing all of this is because I appreciate your love for this franchise. Like, doesn't really matter what happened to me or how I feel. That's we'll leave that on the side. I love and have always had that bond going back to the 80s with the fans. I get messages every day from fans. Okay? I get direct messages all the time from fans. Going back to, gee, I met you in the 80s. We were with you in the 90s. I miss you, or whatever the case may be. I love it. So thank you. I don't want to go on and on this, but I do appreciate the heck out of you. Grant, do you think Fox will be an all-star this year? In this Western Conference, it is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Do I think he's an all-star? Yes, I do. All right. Yeah, how about the Spurs beating the Timberwolves by a point? That was something. Got to go out and play every night in this league. You can't be taking nights off. Go ask the Kings. They lost to Charlotte. All right. Can't, Thank you very much for your support, everyone. Thank you, Lydia. Appreciate that. I think I'm going to win the lawsuit too because, well, it's common sense, isn't it? Like, we're really going to federal court over all lives matter, every single one? I mean, do you know anyone that doesn't think that all lives matter, every single one? I've traveled the world. I talk to people, not to get off on a tangent here. I talk to Black people, white people, Asians, Hispanics. I've been over to Europe to talk to the folks over in Montenegro and Croatia. I've had conversations. I had a conversation with a gentleman a couple of months ago that was on a business trip in Dubai talking about this. Dubai. And they couldn't believe what happened to me. Like, wait a minute, what? What happened to him for saying all lives matter, every single one? Like, that's the world we're living in. How sad is it that for 3 years I've been battling this company, Bonneville International, okay? Because they fired me because I put on social media, all lives matter, every single one. So that all lives matter. Do you listen to KHTK? Because if so, you're listening to a company that does not believe that all lives matter. I don't know about you, but I couldn't listen to a company that doesn't believe all lives matter. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Just could not do it. All right, folks, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing because they've got a fix for you. Call that number on your screen or go to sackserviceplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing available 24/7 for all of your plumbing needs and repairs. That's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Light the beam. Again, you lose 4 in a row. Everybody wants to go and jump off the rooftop. Now, all of a sudden, you've won 3 in a row. And you got a Memphis team coming up on Monday who are in Indiana right now getting ready to play their game tomorrow night. So there you have it. Love it. You got a team coming in a back-to-back again. Lydia is 100% correct. It was a moment that powers that they wanted everyone to say certain things or you were called out a racist or got fired. You're right, Lydia. You know what it's called? They wanted everyone to be politically correct. And when I made a comment that did not line up with their political correctness, I was fired because they wanted to say, hey, look, we support you, BLM. We support Black Lives Matter. Look, we just fired a guy that said all lives matter. You are 100% correct, Lydia. They panicked, Said, sorry, you got screwed, Grant. It's not right. Most people are going to be on your side. People that have common sense and have, again, common sense are on my side, which is wrong, which is the vast, vast majority of people. Jay, check it in. Best pre, half, and post-game coverage available. Thank you. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you. You know, as far as the comments about Katie, you're more than welcome to continue to call and make comments about the broadcast being bad. And I get that, but there's nothing I can do about it. You know, nothing I can do about it. I would think that, JoJo, when you say I'm with you, Grant, all lives matter, I would think the vast majority of people on the globe believe that all lives matter, every single one. I know one thing, all the people I've talked to, you know that I only have run into 2 people that I've told my story to that understood why I got fired. You know that? 2 out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in different countries, not just in America. You know? Yeah, how about that Warriors-Lakers ending? I didn't see it. I was following it online, but that did seem crazy, you know? What do you think is Keegan Murray's ceiling? Great question. All-star. I think he can be an all-star. I guess, does that answer the question or not? His ceiling is very high, you know? It's got a good ceiling. All right. There we have it. Even if they don't believe all lives matter, they have no right to fire you for a different belief. Well, I believe that Black lives matter. All lives matter could not be a truthful statement if the lives of Black people didn't matter. So I don't even know why I would even have to clarify that. To me, again, goes back to common sense. Did I file a lawsuit against the Kings? No, my lawsuit is against Bonneville International from Salt Lake City. All right. John, thank you, buddy. Hope you had a good birthday this week. Hope you had a special day. Speaking of special, we're going to have a special show coming up on Monday. Guess who's turning 80? Guess who's turning 80? Jerry Reynolds. Thank you for this message. My name is Jeff. Says, we miss you, Grant and Jerry. Like I've said before, games on TV are not the same anymore. Would have loved to see you call the games last year during the playoffs. I would have too. Would have enjoyed that. You know, would have enjoyed that. Yeah, we got a special birthday coming up. 80 for the one and only Jerry Reynolds on Monday. You know, we got to have a special show on Monday, right? I want everyone to plan to be with us on halftime. All right? Plan on being with us on halftime, and let's wish Jerry a very special 80th birthday. How about that? And he still looks great. What a legend, Jerry. Now, don't get Jerry's head all swollen up with pride and with great comments, you know? That's the one thing I would say about Jerry. You know, of all the people that I've met, Jerry probably has the least ego of anyone that I've ever been around. Am I still in touch with G-Man? Yes, quite often. We text every now and then. Bennett's does have a great brunch. But yeah, I always send G-Man a message right before the season begins, wishing him the best. I send him a birthday message in June. He always checks in with me on my birthday. Last year I sent him a really nice message before the playoffs began because I was so happy for him. So yeah, I love G-Man, you know? Absolutely. I love G-Man. I mean, who doesn't love Gary Gerald? The guy's great. All right? Phenomenal. Does that mean, Grant, you don't hold anything against Vivek for losing your position? By the way, I felt sick when I found out they let you go. I have no respect for Vivek. I think he's a horrible owner. I think the guy doesn't understand Sacramento. He has no clue when it comes to sports. I've been very open about this. There are very few people in my life. I can't really name 5 that I could put on one hand that know less about basketball than Vivek, but yet he thinks he knows everything and thinks that you can build a team on a laptop. I don't respect someone like that. I don't respect someone that goes out and hires a person of expertise and then tries to step over them and tell them what to do. I don't respect that. You know, love Rocky, the Kings photographer, been with the team forever. He's the best. Love the man. Love him. Absolutely love him. All right. Absolutely love him. And he's so talented, so good at what he does. So happy to have everyone here. And okay, this is a very fair question. Can you compare between Maloof and Vivek? I remember the Maloofs weren't nice. They were liars. Well, first of all, you're wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. The Maloofs are one of the nicest, generous people that I've ever been around. So when you say they weren't nice, you couldn't be further from the truth. The Maloofs are unbelievably nice and charitable and generous, okay? Like top shelf. So when you say they're not nice, you've obviously never been around them and you don't know them, okay? That's not true. Yes, the situation with trying to move the team got ugly and got very contentious, and I understand that. But I know the Maloofs very well. And for you to say that they're not nice is flat out so wrong that it bothers me that you would make that comment. If you don't care for them as owners, that's fine. So you asked me what the biggest difference is. The Maloofs were not knowledgeable at all when it comes to basketball. But the Maloofs allowed Jeff Petrie to do his job without interference. They wanted to know what was going on, but they didn't tell Jeff what to do. They didn't stop trades. They allowed Jeff Petrie to run the basketball side of things. The Maloofs wanted to be friends with everyone. They wanted to be buddy-buddy with the coach. Rick Adelman didn't want to be buddy-buddy with the owners. You understand? But when the Maloofs had money, they were, to me, as good as any owners in the NBA. They treated their employees like gold. They treated the team like gold. Everyone wanted to play for the Maloofs. Players all over the league were telling their agents, get me to Sacramento. All of them. The players in the NBA loved the Maloofs. Trust me on that. Okay? Here's something else that the Maloofs did. The Maloofs ended up living in Sacramento. They bought a house right across from Arco Arena on the other side of I-5. They were Vegas, but they were in Sacramento a lot, okay? They wanted to become part of the community. They were incredible with their charity to Sacramento. They wanted to make it work in Sacramento. Trust me when I tell you that, okay? They got into a contentious relationship with the city, and probably the worst thing they ever did was their $6, $7, $8 million burger commercial on Carl's Jr. when they were asking money from the taxpayers in the city to build them arena. That's probably the biggest mistake they made. And that's a good question, Michael. I really appreciate you saying that. All right. Can you give me an update on Scott Pollard? Yes, I talk to Scott almost every day. He's going to Chicago this week. And then next week, he's going to Vanderbilt Hospital at Vanderbilt University for another complete series of tests. And again, I don't want to say this incorrectly, but I believe, because this is very confusing for me, all right, because there's a lot to this. After Vanderbilt, he will then be placed in a certain order for receiving a heart, and he will go back to his home in the Indianapolis area, and he will be on call 24/7, all right, so that when a heart that is a match for him is found, he is out the door and on his way to hopefully a new life. So that's the update on Scott. By the way, I would also say this. He is so appreciative of all the people that have reached out on Instagram, social media, Facebook. It's touched him. It means a lot to him. So thank you for asking. All right. Thank you for asking. Hey, I want to talk to you about Calusa Sunrise and Blazona Development, who has Sunrise Landing going on in Calusa. Okay. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. Phase 1 is already sold out. Check out their 6 models to choose from. No Mellorews, no homeowners at Sunrise Landing in Calusa. You can schedule an appointment. You can go check everything out. You can go to Sunrise Landing in Calusa. And again, you see there, CalusaSunrise.com. That's Sunrise Landing from Blazona Development. So happy that they are a part of our programming here. And Dennis Blazona is a huge, huge Sacramento Kings fan. Loves the Kings. All right. Kings, get the W. Grizzlies, coming up on Monday. The Grizzlies play tomorrow in Indiana. Jerry Reynolds, his 80th birthday on Monday. 80. How about that? 80. 80. He looks good for 80. Sharp. Still wants to come on and help us and be involved. He, like me, he loves the Sacramento fans too. I mean, I think it's pretty apparent. You know, think about this. Jerry's going to be 80 years old. And think about everything that Jerry's done for the Sacramento community. Jerry is Sacramento, you know? Think about Jerry moving here in 85 from Kansas City. And think about Jerry in 2024, who's a household name and will always be a part of the Sacramento Kings forever. Forever. Jerry Reynolds and the Sacramento Kings will be joined at the hip forever. The best. All right. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. You all are the best. Appreciate you. And Jerry Reynolds will be with us at halftime for the Memphis game with the big 8-0. The big 8-0. Yeah, well, so will G-Man. Thank you. Jerry, Grant, and G-Man. Well, I don't like to talk about myself, but Gary Gerald will always be a part of the Sacramento Kings. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. I put 32 years of my heart and soul into this franchise. 32 years. 32 years. The Kings will always be a part of my life. You will always, always be in my heart. You'll always be the biggest part of my life outside of my family. Always. I love talking with all of you and being a part of your lives. And I hope we can do this for a long, long time. You all are the best. Thank you very much for joining us here. Ryan had some internet difficulties, but he'll be back Monday with the pregame show. Jerry Reynolds, the 80-year-old, on halftime. Please join us at halftime so we can give Jerry a special birthday tribute. Thank you very much. All right. So you want me to give you an oh boy before you leave. All right. The Kings beat the Mavs tonight. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. Oh, boy. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon. Enjoy your football games tomorrow. Enjoy them. Talk to you on Monday.